I'm always like, hey, is this going to get you to create? Is this going to get you to like do the things you say you actually want to do, but you're not doing? Like, then it's all good.
Yeah.
And if there's some cheating along the way that gets you to feel incompetent and you're having fun until you start coming up with your own things, I'm like, go for it.
Hello, my name is Brandy Hofer. Welcome to the Color Me Happy podcast. I'm so grateful you're here, and I'm very grateful for your time. You are going to feel so empowered with our episodes and our guests because they live a truly passionate life. They're excited about what they do. They know that creativity matters and that your art matters and that it matters to following your passion in life to ultimately see your everyday ordinary as extraordinary. These episodes are almost unedited, very raw, so it'll feel like you're sitting down for coffee with a friend. Feel free to reach out anytime at Brandy Hofer Studios on Instagram and subscribe for more content just like this. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for fitting me into your busy schedule.
Oh no, weird time, lots of weird travel.
Oh my gosh. Good for you. Tell me about it. I want to hear about your adventures. Some good life things, some great art things always.
Yeah, just going to France at the end of this month. I'll be gone all of May teaching in France for UpTrek, then home for a week, and then we head back to Europe. We'll be in Italy for the month of June, and our daughter's getting married in Italy, and so it's kind of trying to get everything done this month in April or almost April before I leave for her wedding. So,
wow.
Wish me luck.
Right? I know.
It's been he came and talked to us in December wanting to propose to her. And then he proposed maybe like 4 weeks later, 5 weeks later. And so but we met and married within 8 months. His mom and dad met and married within 7 months. And so they'll be meeting and marrying around the same. Isn't that crazy?
When you know. I think, anyways.
Yeah.
Right?
So why waste time? So they
yeah.
So we went like about a week ago to help her get her wedding dress and find that, and then to help him find his tux. And so all very fun things.
Yeah, super exciting.
Yeah.
So how did you have to keep it a secret then? 4 weeks after he asked you?
Well, she knew. I mean, she knew. She picked out her ring. She picked out a ring. No girl should ever not pick out their ring. And so you have to wear it for the rest of your life, So, I mean, he picked out his, she picked out hers, and then she just didn't know when he was gonna ask.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's great. So romantic. Everyone's beats mine.
What's yours?
There is no, well, we live together already. So I was like, I feel like it's time that we get married.
That's great.
He's like, sure, I guess. I was like, okay, this sucks. This is terrible to tell. And then we went to his parents' house and told them, and he walked right in the door and he's like, so I guess we're like getting married. And I was just like, I was eating a popsicle and it fell to the floor. It's just like, hey, how are you? Like anything. And can we get married in your backyard? And it was actually, so as crappy as the proposal was, he's great at other things, but everyone has their strength. Romance, maybe not. The wedding, was very organic, and it only cost $3,000, including my dress.
Yeah,
and it was 87 people, and the Northern Lights were out, and we had my brother and sister a musical, so they wrote us a song, and
amazing.
It was just like simple and beautiful.
Yeah,
and I feel like there's no regret when you haven't dropped like so much of your time and energy, and that like timeline. Like I planned this for a year and a half of my life for one day. And I think people after that fact feel a little bit like, okay,
I think it's almost better if
That was a
it
lot.
is fast, if it's quicker and, you just like, you don't we didn't have time to like overthink the save the dates, and we didn't have time to overthink the wedding invitations. We're like, these are pretty, and we sent them, right? Like
Yeah.
these are your choices for where you're going to have your ceremony. Make a decision. Like, here we go. Like, and this, it's like one thing after another. Like you have to get this, you actually have to find a dress. We're here for this amount of days, and, like go. And so, but when I was in Round Top, I was using like this really like old bathroom, and the lady next to me, like really low, like the wooden walls, you could literally
Awkwardly low.
yeah, awkwardly low. She's changing her clothes. I'm going to the bathroom, and I was like, hello, like, you're so like, how are you? And then I said, this gives vibes of like basement churches, like a basement church bathroom. And she goes, it does. And then she was like, it really does. And I'm like, yeah. And it reminds me of like back when like weddings would be upstairs. Your ceremony would be down in the basement with streamers, cake, punch with the floating like ice cube ring.
Yeah.
Buttermints. I don't know if you grew up going to church, like buttermints but in the Midwest, like
I don't know what a buttermint is. Our church experiences are different.
But I mean, like, well, this is Midwest, a marriage, like, and they had buttermints, like, you're just like mints that melt easily, nuts, and a cake. That's it. Like,
Yeah.
like, I mean, like,
This is standard wedding procedure.
Back in the olden days, right? Like, it didn't cost anything.
No, we had like square, like Nanaimo bars. Do you know what a Nanaimo bar is?
No.
Yeah, that's a Canadian. Yeah, church basements. They always shove the kids down in the church basement. That's for sure. And it did have a weird smell, so hopefully that didn't have a weird smell. Yeah.
Weird bathrooms.
Yeah. Oh, so funny. How did they land on Italy? Because I know you have traveled as a creative with your family, which I want to learn more about. And I had emailed you such a long time ago about it. And I still want to pick your brain because I would love, maybe not this year or next, because my kids are still a lot. 3 boys are a lot, but I would love to be paid to go somewhere and like teach but also like fulfill that, your kids being exposed to different cultures. So did they land on Italy because they love it, or
they landed she chose, like, we told her, like, you could do it here in Colorado, you can do it in Nashville because that's where she lives now. Here's some other favorite places that we've traveled in the United States that we have really great memories. We've gone again and again. You could go do it there. And I'm like, or Maddie, like, we've been going to like this part of Italy for 10 years. And we love people here. It's the first place that my kids experienced as young, like Ben would have been the youngest, but Jack and Maddie as teenagers, that you can just walk everywhere and you have complete freedom. Like, all of my 3 kids found like this really amazing freedom in our family traveling to Italy. And so you're staying in a small town. I mean, not small, but it's like a small village along Lake Como, and you can walk everywhere, which means like you can go down to the lake, you can go to the pool, you can go meet friends for coffee. It is very different than day-to-day life here in America. Probably more similar to the freedom I had growing up, but that town no longer even represents or like even like looks at all like the town I grew up in. My town was Totten Teens, where you can get all your clothes, and there were shoe stores and get your eyeglasses in town, and there was the jewelers. Well, then the big malls came in the 80s, right? I was born in 72. And so in the 80s, so up to that point, you could really be in your town and you didn't have to leave if you didn't want to, right? Like maybe you ordered something from a magazine, like a catalog or things like that. But then the mall came and then you could get all of this stuff. And so my town now, like none of those things are there anymore. So here, these small towns in Italy that also like are what they are because of tourism too. I mean, there are villages along Lake Como that are like almost like ghost towns and there's not much, but where we go, there's amazing food, like great beaches, great cafes, and there's things for the kids to do, but they had freedom, and that freedom I think just is like planted a seed in them of something that feels really good too. So like we spend a month every summer now. The kids as they are, I think last summer would be the last one we had with Maddie the whole month.
Oh, wow.
He was still in college. And so now, so Jack's out of college. He can't spend a month, but he spends like 2 weeks. And Ben,
Cool.
is graduating high school, but he also works full time for a YouTuber, and he can only be there for 2 weeks. And this will be the first year that Kelly and I will have 2 weeks there by ourselves because
Reconnection.
yeah. So,
but you guys work together. I'm sure you see plenty of one another. So that's so great, and it's so wonderful that they had that opportunity, because now what they're saying, and I don't want to get dark in the podcast, but I think parents should be aware, if they're not already, but they like that we're putting barriers and things on the wrong thing for our children. Like we're blocking them from going out on their bikes or walking alone or going to get a slush or going to get a whatever somewhere or checking things, adventuring on their own. So we're blocking them because we're afraid, but we're not blocking them on something that is like stunting their development levels, way more dangerous than them biking somewhere alone. You know what I mean? Like we're putting the wrong barriers up.
Most children are handed a cell phone at a very young age with like access to the, a whole world. And the whole world comes with the whole world, right? Like it's everything.
I don't love it.
No, I mean, so
I don't love knowing what's going on here, and here. It's so hard on your heart. It stifles creativity.
Yeah, they don't need that. So yeah, a lot more childhood, I would say. And even for us, like when our kids did get phones, it was a lot of it was locked down. A lot of it was not, and it wasn't until they were a little older that they even got one. And so that's a whole nother discussion. But,
it really is. That's a whole podcast episode.
I have 3 kids that are grown. They like, even is like all the things that we locked down, you still like, if you want to find something, you can. And also there's life outside of showing what you do on social media that's actually living. And so I think a lot of them are trying to get back to that, a lot of kids in general. But to me, like if you go to Italy and if you're at a cafe, you do not see people on their phones.
No,
I mean, like you don't see adults on their phones. If you run across like a group of kids on the street in Italy that are junior high or high school, they're not on their phones.
Wow. That's incredible.
So if you see like a group of kids from America, like in a mall, like they're all together, but they're all like on their phones.
Yeah. Oh, even so recently the schools banned phones. I was like, yes.
Yeah.
Awesome. And then, but not at recess, like for certain ages. Yeah. So the kids that go outside, so grade 5 and under go outside. They're not allowed phones, but 6 and up are allowed phones at recess, and they're not talking to each other. I was like, why didn't they ban phones for the whole day? Yeah. Like this makes no sense at all. Like they're stuck, well, they're not stuck. The teachers are doing a great job, but they're they're sitting down, they're, getting curriculum. And then during their break where they should be socially connecting with one another, they're, doing whatever they're doing. We had found a really good solution is we got a watch, which has to be tethered to a phone if you want it, but all he has is a watch. So if we need to get a hold of him, he can call or text. Yeah. It's the greatest solution of all time. And we'll move on because I want to talk about your educational platform so wonderful, so huge. And I have had the privilege, thank you for being a small part of it, with our Drawing Faces, our new class that just released. And it seems like people are trying it out and enjoying it. And
Yes.
it's one of those courses that like, it doesn't launch huge, but then like people start doing it and they're like, this is kind of magical and amazing. And then then it like kind of snowballs and in a really great way. So
there's proof that you can do it, like anybody can do it. So and I think that's what's so amazing about your class is that people that have intimidation or fear about it, they're then saying, like, looking like, whoa, I can actually really do this.
To this really great level too.
Really, to a wonderful level.
Right away.
Yeah, every sample that I've seen of anybody doing it, you're almost like, whoa, like that's.
That was your first try?
That's your, oh, too bad for you. Like, no, like, you don't need to get to feel bad about yourself for a little bit.
No.
Excellent.
No. And even like, so I have people all over the world doing a little bit of a different method. I made it more approachable with the class technique is more refined, but I made it approachable, the transfer technique for hacks online and like all over the world.
Yeah.
Kids are doing it. Yeah. And so they have like really poor quality media.
Yeah.
Right. And they're pulling it off.
Yeah.
So if you're a creative, which most of your audience, they've taken your classes, they have the stuff, like this is stuff you can use that you already have. Basically, I would say most people have watercolors and color pencils, and pastels. Right. Yeah. And so like right away, you catch on, and then you're like, okay, I could have had better line sensitivity. And like, there's a lot of haters online. They're like, this is cheating. And I'm like, it's not. You're learning so much. Like you're learning to draw, but in an empowering way.
And isn't that funny? Like what they think is cheating. We've learned like so much from even like the old masters of how they would, through like light and mirrors and glass, like to be able to to copy onto paper. And so I agree with you. I think so many people there, it's, if something is keeping you from doing something you want to do, and somebody says, here's a tool that's going to give you really great results and you're going to learn along the way, you can always like practice your way out of that, you know. And so it's kind of like I had this video go viral at one point, and it was just like me showing how you could do a contour sketch like over a pre-existing piece of art, and it was like a book cover. And there, you know, and I was saying, guys, this is a great way to warm up. It's a contour sketch. You don't lift your pencil. It's just really fun. It's a great way to warm up. And then even like once you've gotten used to this, then you can even do contour sketches on something you're looking at. And people were like, you're copying that artist stuff. And I'm like, this is just to show you a warm up. Like no one's going to sell this. I think online gets a lot, like you get so much feedback about stuff. And I'm always like, hey, is this going to get you to create? Is this going to get you to like, do the things you say you actually want to do, but you're not doing? Like, then it's all good.
Yeah.
Like, and if there's some cheating along the way that gets you to feel incompetent and you're having fun, until you start coming up with your own things, I'm like, go for it.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like, because we all know when you show up daily for something, you're going to get better.
Yeah.
And if that warm up is going to get you flowing, which they do, right, out of your head, or if this is going to keep you going because you finally can get the proportions right, and that frustrating 2 hours you spent on gridding, or 4 or 6, which I used to do, by the way, because I was told use it. Like I went for over a decade coming out of art school, that limiting belief that using the tools was cheating. So I was so here I am telling you that I went through the right way, which now as an educator, I actually fully am against that whole way of teaching now that I see people thriving in a positive reinforcement way, which I feel like our generations were really like, you have to do it, like you have to sweat and be mad in order to learn things. And it's really terrible. And for creatives, it's a lot of pressure. And then some people come to a full stop and then they don't pursue their passions, which I want to encourage as many people as possible to connect with their passions in their lives. So I went the long road.
Yeah.
And this one's way more fun. And here it is in a really pretty package.
Yeah.
So,
well, and you can watch somebody else do it. You can learn the step by step. I even last time when we were in Italy, I brought like Jeanne Prater is an artist that from the United States, but he now lives in Europe, and he has done a class on our site, and he does a lot of pen and ink. And I don't do a lot of like pen and ink kind of stuff, but I love his work so much. And I had gotten like a reproduction of one of his journals, like, and it's tiny. And that's what I would take to the beach. I take his journal, a blank little tiny notebook, and pens, like black ink pens in different like widths and sizes. And I would look at what he did, because it was actually relaxing. I wasn't having to try to come up with anything. I wasn't in my own studio to come up with something. I wasn't trying to push myself. I was at the beach, and I could have been reading a book, but instead I was looking at Zane's, and I was just having a lot of fun, but actually learning some different techniques by just copying his. Like I said, I'm not going to sell that. It's his work. But it was very relaxing.
And you did it for you.
And I just did it because I wanted to be at the beach and create without, when you are always creating, sometimes it's really nice to, like, I don't want to be on my phone at the beach.
No. And
so I remember years ago, Danielle Donaldson had really loved, Dantini, her, like, I don't know, I'm not thinking the full name, her women. And Danielle Donaldson does a lot of illustrative work, a lot of graphite, watercolors. And she had said to me, I loved her girls so much that I copied them and then copied and copied and copied and copied until I copied my way out and I made my girls. And now you would never know that she was first inspired by Corey Dantini's girls, because she copied and she was already a well-known artist, Danielle, at the time. She's talked about this publicly. We talked about this. And so that's what I say to people sometimes. I'm like, it's okay to take a class, but like practice your way out of it. And it's great to learn a tool or to like let somebody hold your hand. Eventually, you're going to have the confidence to practice your way out of it.
Exactly. And it will always be yours. Like no one's going to there's not one person like another in the whole wide world. So why would you think that yours is going to look the exact way that someone else's did, right? So no, it's totally, it's Teddy. Teddy has arrived. It's okay. Hey, buddy. Hold on one sec. Just give me 5 minutes. Okay.
Hi, Teddy.
Jean says, hi, Teddy. Do you got some books from the library? Yeah. Okay. You'll just got to wait 5 minutes and you'll show me or something. I don't know. Sorry. So cute. Cool. Where were we? Yeah. Okay. So when Steal Like an Artist, Austin Kleon, that's why that book's so darn popular. And I went through art school copying other artists. Like we would draw in the style of, like we would draw this live nude figurative class, right? But we would do it in this style of just to find what you like.
Yeah.
Like figure out what you like. Yeah. And it's a great way to learn about mediums. And like for our class, for you, that's almost 20 years of or any artist with a class, that's, almost 2 decades of learning knowledge, but in a few hours for you to like a lifetime of knowledge and shortcuts.
Yeah.
So you can experience the joy in ease in a process,
What have you heard from people that thought they couldn't draw or they couldn't draw faces? What have you heard over the years of people doing this? And then what impact has it had on future creativity?
Well, it always keeps them coming back. Like they're excited.
Mhm.
I haven't had, knock on wood here, like no negative feedback. Not like thousands of people,
Yeah.
Have tried this. Millions of people have watched it.
Wow.
Whether they've tried it or not,
Yeah.
I can't say, but like they feel empowered. They like the rawness, the authenticity, the vulnerability. Like, might not always get this right. Mine's not great. I taught Kristen, who recorded one of our very first classes. I taught her, and like her portraits were extraordinary. And that's what sparked the whole thing.
Mhm.
Is like, wow, I can teach this. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't know. I was keeping it for myself.
Yeah.
And then I finally found the joy in sharing something, and now that fills my cup more than making it, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah. Well, and you also, this is a total side note, you also do mural work. How much of your work is still mural?
Well, I live in Canada where there's lots of snow. It's blizzarding as we speak. So we have a very short mural season, with mural festivals, etc. I do interior murals. And I also live in a population of 30,000. So to my counterparts who are in like San Jose and San Diego and stuff, where there's like more full season muraling, like they're doing sometimes like 1 or 2 a week, which like I'm like,
you have to look up Zane. So Zane's who I told you earlier, but Zane also does massive mural work.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, you have to.
What's his
you the link
last name?
afterwards.
Yeah.
I'll send that to you so you can look at him up on Instagram, because he'll do 3-story sides of buildings.
That's crazy.
Mind-blowing.
Yeah, my biggest is 3,000 square feet.
Okay.
But like it was yeah, it took a lot of planning, lots of energy. I have 3 young kids, so I only like to do like one really big project and then a few little projects, because they are all encompassing. And then that's my whole weekend or my whole week or my whole 2 weeks of, summertime with kids and stuff like that. So I only like to do that. But the portrait work translates into the murals if there's portraiture involved in the order. But we use a projector instead. So it's same technique, same learning, shading, lines. You just you're transferring media, right? And you're learning with exterior latex paint. So what's really cool is you can start here and then move into large scale work and mural work, and really, if you're interested, right? Like the sky's kind of the limit, and that's what I like about empowering people to figure this out.
And I'd like to say, this is a drawing faces class, but really you can use any image.
Yeah.
So if you are into landscape, if you are into still life, whatever your image is, the same process can be used.
Yeah, which is so funny because I started showing that a little bit on social media, and some people who take the class or affiliates and stuff like that, they're like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize I could do a landscape. I was like, we've been doing this for 2 years together. What do you mean? Like, you didn't think of that? Yeah. It's really cool, because if you love a daily sketchbook process, which a lot of your students do, you could test it out there, right? Like you can pack some photographs, do the transfer, and you could sit at the lake and draw. And like I pack sketchbooks with that same process all the time.
Right, well,
that's okay. It's a great way to travel, And Teddy has been obsessed with drawing Pikachu and sketchbooking. So it's really great for kids. Like, the cool thing about this is you can do it with groups of friends. You can do it on your own. You could teach it in schools. You can do it with your own kids. Like, grandparents really love to do it with their grandkids, which is super cute. We've done animals. Like, the kids did animal portraits, which was Teddy's idea. He's 5. And it turned out amazing. I don't think I've drawn a tiger since grade 8. And I had so much fun. And it took away, the like process where you get frustrated, the frustrating part. And then you get to play with the media, which is my personal favorite part. Color, media, fun, pattern work, and so on and so forth. So it really feeds into whatever creative avenue you see yourself going. And it's so fluid and limitless.
Yeah, no, I agree. Very fun class. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Where can everyone find all this information for the class?
You can go to jeanneoliver.com and you're going to click on courses, and Brandy's course is right up there as one of the new release courses. So it's drawing faces, and it's you can see a promo, you can see all the techniques you're going to learn, and then you can, even in the private Facebook group, you can kind of see some of the work that the other students are doing so far and what they're sharing. But it's just started, and you're not too late, and we would love to have you.
Yeah, perfect. I have our last and final question. That's the same thing, last and final. I have our final question, sponsored by Red Bicycle Communications. If you had unlimited funds for your community for one day, what would you do?
For my community? So what do you mean? Like, to do something to bless the community in some way? Unlimited in my town, I would get some kind of, like, there is no like art center. There is no place where there's symphonies or gallery shows like that. You'd have to go into Denver or to Colorado Springs, but our town is big enough that it should have one. So I would say, like, music, like I miss music when I'm here for a longer period of time. Like, there's just, even along the Lake Como, you can hear music all the time. When we travel, we can see music. And so, like, I would say, like, an art center, definitely for theater, for music, and for bringing artists together of all kinds.
The Jeanne Oliver Art Center.
Let's not call it that, but let's get one.
Yeah. Who knows? For life will take you one day, or what you want to do with your like legacy and your creativity, right? You never know.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing that. Well, thanks for being here.
Thank you so much. Great talking to you.
If you have any questions, feel free to reach out on Instagram at Brandy Hofer Studios anytime. I'm happy to chat. That's where I sit. And I'm so glad you're here, and I cannot wait for you to dive in. So give us a like and subscribe, and check the rest of our channel.
If you want to feel empowered and inspired, like and subscribe for more. And if you want to get creative, check out all our art hacks on this channel.